Well, they taken that old woman, poor old woman, cat in the peach orchard and whipped her.
Slavery was abolished by the 13th Amendment in 1865. This is a picture of a Mississippi cotton plantation taken in 1901.
Because, believe it or not, slavery was not a crime.
Into not telling the slaves about their freedom, and then made the feeble and sickly slaves who remained on the plantation work the fields.
A new labor system called sharecropping, physical brutality included.
In the late 19th century, convict leasing. Get arrested on a minor charge, you could find yourself locked up and then hired out to a corporation bidding on inmate labor.
He freed 4 million black people and then re-enslaved a fifth of them as convicts and debt peons.
Convict leasing was different. You could get them cheaper, and if you actually drove them to death, there was more where that came from.
Enter the Black Codes and Jim Crow laws. These laws both limited the rights of black people and exploited them as a labor source by denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, get an education, or other opportunities. This was by design, as slavery had been a multi-billion-dollar industry. Those who attempted to defy Jim Crow laws often faced arrest, fines, jail sentences, violence, and death.
In the 13th Amendment, which ends the institution of slavery, of course, there is a loophole. Convicts who have been convicted of a crime, they actually can be forced to work for free.
The pipeline from prisons to profits in this country has deep roots.
More money can be made out of their incarceration is still very much part of our criminal justice system.
About just under 40% of the nation's prisoners are black, and yet the African-American population is about 13%. They are snatching up bodies everywhere to fuel the system.
Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime. In the 1990s, prosecutors began prosecuting felony charges at twice the rate they did before.
I'm pretty sure someone's making more money off it.
Most of their wages are taken by the prison to cover the costs of imprisonment, which would otherwise have to be covered by taxpayers.
Yearly, $265 billion of our taxpayer money is spent keeping public prisons and jails running.
Overly taxed.
Okay, we're talking about a phone call.
We're talking about a phone call.
The fees that inmates pay for everyday services are several times what we pay outside of prisons.
There's a lot of money to be made in this industry.
Prisoners are also not protected by any labor laws.
The whole correction system, it's like saying what rights of a slave have.
Right.
I'm saying you own the plantation, end the story. It's slavery 2021. Prison is slavery.
That's right. 13th Amendment.
That's it, 13th Amendment. Unless you commit a crime, you can force to work free labor.
They're required to work under threat of disciplinary action. If they say, no, I'm not going to work, they can write you up for that. They can send you to solitary.
Prison labor is worth about $2 billion a year. So you might be wondering, how is this legal?
Federal prosecutors to ask for the most serious charges and harshest sentences against defendants. Black defendants receive longer sentences for similar crimes.
Condition like this for up to 10, 15, 20, 30 years, well, it kind of catches up with you.
It's not built for compassion. It's not built for, rebirthing people. It's built to punish.
Most people don't know anything about the criminal justice system, and they just think they did something wrong, all bets are off.
76% of prisoners who are released are rearrested within 5 years.
I'm educated, I'm civilized, I'm dignified, and at this point, this sentence, man, is having like a reverse effect. What's the point?
You just see him thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice.
Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? This wait has almost always meant never. Justice too long delayed is justice denied.
So what I need to do right now in 16 is come up with a better way. Because how we doing it, it ain't working.
Mongrel type of people.
What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
We start to see that forgiveness is a real thing.
Use this rage for motivation. Only then we'll be able to break the vicious cycle of racism and a modern day slavery, which is dressed up as the justice system.